And sorry, I will present my screen. Sorry, Kayla. And for anybody else that didn't see that, I did say it, but maybe you weren't in at that time. So what is holistic medicine is the warm-up question, and I am collecting that, so get that done. But now we're working on the backtrack through the chapter. It's in Google Classroom. We're going to work on it till 8 o'clock, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to go over the answers. So make sure that you stick around and we can go over it, and then you can study that for the test too. And I don't know if any of you heard me, but we have a new feature. It's the raise your hand feature. So you can, if you have a question, you can just push that little hand if you prefer, or the chat's still an excellent way to communicate as well. So anyway, so 8 o'clock, I'll reconvene and come back on, and we will go over that review page. Do you have a question? Eden, what we're doing right now, we just did the warm up, and we are working on in Google Classroom backtrack through the chapter. And in the live stream is all the vocab that might be able to help you answer some of the questions if you didn't participate in all of the meets. So FYI.
What's it called again?
Backtrack to the chapter.
Okay.
One more thing for reminders. I was just thinking about this. Remember to, on the test day, after your test, I won't accept any work from the unit. Okay, so you have up until Tuesday the test to get anything into me that you want scored for this unit. But if I get it after Tuesday and after the test, it will be not scored. So just as a recap. All right, you got 1 minute, and then we're gonna go over this. So. Okay, so we're gonna go over the answers. I need you to be able to participate. And we'll start with question 1. So, what are 4 benefits people might notice when they begin taking steps to improve their health? So, what did you have to say for that one? And don't worry about right or wrong right this minute. Let's go over the answer and just give our best guess. And then I'll tell you whether I think you need to add a little more to it. Okay, so Mackenzie says more energy. That's correct. You can raise your hand too. There's a raise your hand feature. Okay, so you can feel better, look better, feel stronger, feel good about yourself. It's easier to cope with daily stresses. It helps with, if you feel good about yourself, then you feel good about relationships you have with other people. So any of those would work just fine there. Okay, question number 2. What are the 3 major components of wellness? We've talked about these every single day. What are the 3 components of wellness? Logan.
Physical, mental, and social?
Yes, good job. Okay, hold on. I think. I was trying to mess with your hand because it's still there. Oh well.
I can lower it.
Oh, you. Oh, okay. So you guys are in control of that. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. Question number 3. What is holistic medicine? We've talked about this one too a lot. I think it was your question today, actually. Here's an answer for that one. What is holistic medicine? Hello? Okay, Caroline says it's a huge approach in healthcare to improve throughout the body and mind. Abby says when they look at all aspects of health, and Logan says a full body approach. Yep. So it's looking at all those variables that Logan mentioned, the physical side of health, the mental side of health, and the social side of health. So remember, one of the questions was that you can't really be at your optimal health if you're just physically healthy, but your mind and your social health is not good, so that's not going to put you at that peak. You have to have all those variables to be at that very end of the timeline or the continuum that we talked about. Okay. Number 4, what is a risk factor? What is a risk factor? I think that was one of your warm-ups this week too. What is a risk factor? What have you got for that one? Abby says something that makes someone more at risk for disease. Yes. Anyone else want to weigh in? Okay, so the one thing that I would probably say that needs to be in there is that it's a behavior that influences a person's chance of getting a disease. So it's really the behaviors and the choices that you make in your life, whether it's, going to be risky or not. All right. Number 5, name 4 lifestyle choices that can affect a person's chance of getting a disease. Now think back to Carl, because when I do things that are related to what I'm teaching, that's what I'm hoping that you'll think back about and think to yourself, okay, well, what was Carl's risk factors? Or, what were some of the things that put him at risk for cardiovascular disease? Because that's what the question is asking, a lifestyle choice that can put you at risk. So what were some of Carl's risk factors? That's what that question's asking, basically. Let's get some other people to weigh in. Abby's not the only one that can answer, even though I so appreciate her. But, everybody's here. All right. Thank you, Kayla.
Is one of them like overeating?
Yes, very good. Logan says diet. What's a couple other ones? Okay, thanks, Mackenzie. Not exercising. Can we get one more? Let's get one more up there. Okay, so high blood pressure. So Abby, what would cause high blood pressure? Don't think of diet and exercise. Think of something else that would increase blood pressure.
Stress.
Yeah, thank you, Aiden. Yep, so if you're stressed out, that's going to increase your blood pressure, which then is going to cause some health problems. So I just want you to make that connection. Okay, so the next one is list 3 factors that decrease the quality of the environment. We did this in our flashcards every day. So what were the 3 things we were talking about with environmental? 3 factors that decrease the quality of the environment. There's 3 of them. What are they? Or if you just know one, that's okay. Any type of contribution to this Cricketville would be great. What do you think? Think back to that question. It was environmental. And what were the 3 things that we were talking about with the environment that's affected? Okay, I'm going to give you one, but I'm not going to give you any more. Air. What is the other two? What are the other two? Landon, Amelia, Ella. What are the other two? Water. Thank you. Logan, thank you. Water. Okay, give me another one. There's one more. It has to do with a behavior that you do every day. We talked about it when we were learning about sanitation and safety. What was that topic that we were learning about sanitation and safety? Starts with an F. Thank you, Abby. Food. Excellent. That was like pulling teeth. Okay, what is one way patients sometimes interfere with the quality of their health care? So remember when we were doing the pie chart and we were doing the one side where we talked about healthcare, and I was talking to you about like what are the reasons why people don't, or what some of the problems were that makes like lack of healthcare or issues with healthcare, which is causing people death and disability. What did we say? So Caroline says, okay, good. They might not tell you the whole story. So they might not give you all the signs and symptoms they're experiencing, which would make it really hard for the doctor to make some form of diagnosis. What's another one? Think about maybe what you've heard other people say about the healthcare. Like I know your parents probably say a lot about one thing specifically. Can you think of that? Like what would they say about the healthcare that they have for their family? What might they say? Thank you, Mackenzie. Yes, that it's expensive. So some people are like, I have 4 mouths at home to feed. I have a house to pay for. I have too many expenses. I can't afford healthcare. Okay. So that could be one. Here's just a couple other ones just for an FYI. So patients fail to get their regular checkups. They fail to seek medical care when their symptoms appear. Patients fail to share information with the physician. That's the one Caroline hit on. Patients fail to follow a physician's advice. And then I think the one Mackenzie mentioned is also a reason why people are not seeking health care like they should. Okay, let's see here. Number 7, what is one way patients sometimes interfere? Oh, I did that one. What are 2 reasons people develop poor health habits? What are 2 reasons why they might develop poor health habits? What do you think? Kayla, I love that you're using the hand.
One of them I put because they got it from like their parents or something.
Okay, so it's a behavior that they've kind of learned and that was role modeled for them. Okay. What's some other reasons? Caroline says hanging out with people who make bad decisions. I would agree with that. Ella?
I said, hold on. I think it would probably not be exercising, like if they're not moving around or anything.
Okay, so let's say they hang out with people that aren't physically active, kind of piecing together with Caroline's, and that maybe that could influence you in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Who's talking to Aiden? Yeah, go ahead.
Just generally growing up with that stuff around.
Okay, so here's just some other thoughts. Some people take good health for granted. So, you see those people all through school that are really thin and, are really active in school. But then when school's over and they don't have the organized sports anymore, they may kind of let themselves go. And so they can't fall back on that anymore. So they took for granted what they had. Some people do not notice the slow toll poor health habits take on their health. For like example, vaping or smoking, you're not seeing the results of that immediately. You're going to see it over time. And so that could be one. Let's see. Some people fail to realize how addictive some poor health habit behaviors can be. Again, that could be a food addiction. It could be, a nicotine type of thing. Okay, number 9. What is epidemiology? What is that? What is epidemiology? Do you know? Epidemiology? Well, at least you're honest. Okay, so Abby said a study of disease in a population. That's perfect. Okay. So like right now we have this coronavirus, and epidemiologist is somebody that's studying it and how it's affecting the population and what type, what part of the population, all of that. Okay, so they're in full on epidemiology mode right now, and really studying this virus that we have going on. Okay, thank you, Abby, again, as always. List 3 main nutrition problems that are affecting the current state of wellness in the United States. So what do you think is causing problems right now with wellness in the United States? Like, what is affecting that? And don't say COVID. Think of other things like the leading causes of death. What did we talk about with what is putting them at 1 and 2? What are some of the things that people are making choices about that's affecting their wellness and makes them a statistic? What do you think? Come on, sleepies. Thank you, Kayla.
I don't think it's right, but I put people don't have enough money to buy the healthy foods.
Okay, I would accept that. I think that's so true that, some people don't, and so they can't afford to buy the fruits and vegetables and things like that, or the organic or along those lines. Yes, Logan, people don't eat very healthy, which is causing obesity in this world. You could also look at lack of exercise. Our society is becoming more and more kind of sedentary, where the things that we do on a given day, like right now, what are you doing? You're sitting at your computer, and it's just the nature of where we are in this world, and that's not helping things, because we do have a lot of sedentary issues, and I know, and that is not your fault, but it is. I mean, the nature of the beast, that this is how our society is kind of going towards, and we need to try to figure out a better way about it. So about 1/3 of the people in the United States eat an inadequate diet, and 1 out of 3 adults is overweight. Okay, and same with diet, they're eating too high fat foods, high cholesterol, lots of sodium, sugar intake is higher than recommended. So those are some things to think about. Okay, so I don't know if anyone answered this question, but explain the relationship between eating habits and life expectancy. That was number 16. So, back in the day, we didn't know all the stuff we know about nutrition. So, improving eating habits over the last 100 years has actually increased life expectancy from where it used to be. But again, they were a lot more active. So it's almost like it's kind of done a 360, where it's now our eating habits have improved to some degree, but we aren't having the activity that we used to always have when we went out in the fields and grew our own crops and, did all that. So it's kind of I don't know, I'm looking like at a teeter-totter, you know, they're kind of switching a little bit. All right, so I'm not going to answer any more questions. I am going to go back to Google Classroom, and you guys finish that up and get it into me. Not due till the day of the test, so just kind of keep that in mind. And I am going to go back to Google Classroom, and I am going to assign the demo page. And like I said, it's on PieCrust. It would be great if you guys could contribute something to your family's Thanksgiving and surprise them with a pie. And like I said, you can, you know, get all the stuff you would need from the store. Pie crust is super simple. It's butter and flour and water. And that's how you make pie crust. So it's not going to cost you a ton of money, and you probably have most of that in your refrigerator now. But if you wanted the filling, you would have to probably go purchase that, which, you know, you go to the dollar store and buy a cherry pie filling or an apple pie filling. The pie crust is a 2 pie crust recipe. So you can actually have the bottom crust, and if you do like apple pie, put your apple filling in, and then you can do a topper. Or you can freeze the other part of it and use that for some other pie at a different time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and assign this to you. The video's there with the demo page. It's due Friday. So try to get that in. And then, like I said, next week on Tuesday, you'll come in for the test. Make sure your cameras are on, otherwise you'll be kicked out. And make sure this weekend that you get all of your work that you want scored, done, and turned in, because after the test, I will not accept any late work or work in general for the unit, okay? So everything from week 4 all the way down to week 1 will not be scored. Now, warm-ups I take anytime, okay? So I don't take late points on warm-ups. You can turn them in, you know, whenever you get them done, and I will take them for full points every single time. But everything else will not be scored, okay? And I have the little emoji that I'll put a lock on the stuff that's no longer being scored so that it doesn't, you don't get confused. But it's, you should know it by the weeks, okay? And I'll put a little lock on, you know, the weeks as well, or the topics, if you look at it that way. So, okay, so if you don't have any more questions, you need to be here till 8:35 to work on your demo page. I need that by Friday. Your backtrack's not due until the day of the test. And then Tuesday we'll take the test, and you're just going to come in, take your test, and then you'll be excused, and I'll have those test scores uploaded within a couple hours of you taking it. Okay, so just so you know, I know immediately what your score is. So if you do get done and you're like, hey, Ms. Epka, could you check my score? I can do that too. That's pretty easy. So if you want to know, that's what I'll tell you. And then you guys will be, well, with me, because I know you have classes Wednesday, but I won't see you Thursday. So just so you know. All right, let me know if you have a question, raise your hand or put something in the chat, but otherwise you're here for 10 more minutes working on your demo or your backtrack. Get that turned in, and then your weekend is yours. And don't forget your warm-up too. So you got 3 things that are coming due soon, and I did collect the MyPlate, or it's due Friday. I can't remember the deadline I put on that. I'll check for you. The MyPlate or the diet add up is due tomorrow, so make sure that gets done as well. And I gave you class time, so you should have gotten it done, but if you didn't, make sure you hit those deadlines under week 4, because those are really important. Do you guys have any questions before we get out? Is everyone all set? Knows what needs to get done, knows what's coming up. Remember, the Quizlet is in the stream, so use that to study. You can use any notes for the test except Google. All right, so at 8:35, you guys are dismissed. Yep, Aiden, it's fine. Have a good one, you guys. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves.